Which brings me to the professional support book. So you've got the page that goes with the addition and subtraction lesson that we've been looking at. And it starts with an activity that you could use to engage students if you wanted to, or you can just use it through. And then some extra activities to support the Discover section, usually very hands-on. Down the bottom, it gives you links to whatever, it gives you the materials you need, but links to the other components of the program that go with that same topic. On the other side, there's the focus of the lesson, also the links it has to the Australian curriculum, content descriptions, and each page has a potential difficulty. Now, in this particular case, it's fluency. Had I known organising the numbers the way that I told you the other day, I might have put that as the potential difficulty. But there's at least some, so that you can be aware of what students might be stumped on in that particular concept and look out for it and have some strategies to address it. So the professional support book I like because it gives that hands-on support as well, and different options. As I said, there's a lot of depth to what's offered then, so that you're not just teaching, not the book, but not just teaching with an interactive or with a student book, but there's lots and lots of different ways to cover the same things. And the student books then, which you'll also have the pages from, has the Discover and the Explore sections, which, as I mentioned before, are mainly on the understanding of fluency parts of the proficiency strands. You'll find that in your pack, and I'll just give you a little moment to look through it so you can see what that particular one's like. Yeah, it looks like
it's yes. It's the book, student book. So that's the student book?
Yes.
Yeah. So there's one per student.
Yes.
So they need to buy that.
So do you buy those, because you get the kit, don't you? So they're extra each year. Yeah. Yeah.
You'll see the example I've given you doesn't have this, but lots and lots of them also, because collaborative learning is really important in maths, a lot of them have throughout this little icon, and it'll have tell your partner how you know, or something similar, so that they'll share with someone else in the class how they got to get the answers for it. There's actually quite a lot in the foundation. Look, it does probably, probably by year 2 most can, but I have used this in our prep class as well. Again, because I really wanted to, I actually had that same thought, I'll admit. And I found, because we'd done the reader first and the interactive, and we talked about it all, when I sent them to do it, I explained it before they went to their tables, and I wondered if I'd need to go through exercise, activity by activity. But actually the competent ones were just fine, and I had time to get round to the ones that I knew would have trouble with the reading part of it. Because within the book, it's a stumbling block for readers in maths if they're relying on that. But I actually found it freed me up to get round to them and spend some good time with those kids who were struggling with it. That's a good question. So it uses some partner work and games. Most of them have a game at the end, so you'll see, I actually really like the calculator game on page 9 of that, right at the very end.
Is the student book on an interactive disc as well, so it could actually read it to the children?
No, it's not. It's a nice little game, that one. But the Year 2 book has those at the end of each of the topics. And then the activity cards have another activity that supports it. So the one that goes with the sequence that I've been showing you, you've got a photocopy of it. It doesn't look like a card, looks like my A4 sheet, but you've got a photocopy front and back. You'll see it pulls out the language that you're going to need, as well as what the key concepts are, and then outlines the activity at the back. I've done this as a whole group activity, but you can also do it as a learning station if you wanted to, with the card, with the kids sitting there doing it. And as I mentioned, the sheets for all those, when you do need sheets, are all on the CD-ROM, which come in the kit and in the teacher book. The last part of the student book is the Connect, which I mentioned covers many but not all of the topics in the unit. It's quite useful to find out where students are at, what they've understood, what they haven't. And although I've given you a Year 2 example, which ties in with the sort of guided reading approach, the foundation and the Year 1 ones are much simpler, much lighter on text in recognition of the fact that the students wouldn't be in a position to read it. And as I mentioned before, much more hands-on. So this one, they are actually cutting out the shapes and making their own picture using the shapes. This one, they actually cut out and sequence the pictures. So it's much more hands-on, the Connect section for the foundation year and the Year 1 book.
So when they cut it out, the back is
It is, yes. I'll show you.
it has to be.
It has to be. So there's the page that they cut, and that's the other page. So they're not cutting up something that was useful. That's a good question. And there we go. So that really covers off all the components of Big Ideas. Is there anything anyone wanted to ask?